All right, we'll call this regular monthly meeting of the Monument Planning Commission to order. Thanks again for everyone attending. Thanks for your patience and the late start. Before we begin, I'd like to state that Planning Commission meetings are open to the public in person and via a Microsoft Teams streaming application. All Planning Commission meeting information can be found on the Town of Monument website. The Planning Commission's role is to conduct public hearings and to make recommendations for the Town Council regarding land use matters in the Town of Monument. Each commissioner agrees to a non-partial, objective, and fair review, which includes no prejudgment of the projects. Should a commissioner wish to disqualify him or herself for any conflicts of personal or financial interest in this matter before us tonight, please say so now. For those attending tonight who wish to provide comment on agenda items, you may speak to the commission during the public comment section of the agenda. Those who attend in person will be called upon first and are asked to come to the podium and sign in with your name and address. Those attending via Microsoft Teams will be called upon next and are asked to utilize the raise your hand option and unmute your microphone when called upon. We ask that if multiple people have the same comment, only one person speak on that same subject. Again, thanks for coming. We'll now begin with roll call.
Thank you. Chair Egley.
Here.
Vice Chair Peterson.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Baumer.
Online.
Thank you. Commissioner Hatch.
Here.
Commissioner Parr is not in attendance today, and Commissioner Trujillo.
Here.
Thank you. That concludes roll call.
All right, we have a quorum. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. The first order of business is the approval of minutes of the last meeting in June for the Planning Commission. I would move that we would approve the minutes with the two corrections that have been made. There was a correction stating that to the fact that it stated that Chairman Egley called the meeting to order when in actuality it was Vice Chair Peterson, and there was a misspelling of Commissioner Baumer's name. And so both of those have been corrected by staff. So I move that we approve the minutes as shown. Do I have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Can we take the vote?
Thank you. Chair Egley.
Yes.
Vice Chair Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Baumer.
Yes.
Commissioner Hatch.
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 6 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, Ray. Next item, we have two public hearings in front of us this evening. The first will be a request for the approval of the Carl Malone Power Sports Final Plan Unit Development. We'll turn to Jenna, the Senior Planner, for the presentation.
Thank you. One moment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and members of the public. My name is Jenna Gorney, Senior Planner in our Planning Department. As mentioned, this evening we're considering the Carl Malone Power Sports. The application is a final PUD plan. So our applicant, Mr. Cal Johnson of Legend Engineering, on behalf of the owner of the subject property, KMAM Real Estate Commons LLC, is seeking final plan unit development approval for the Carl Malone Power Sports at 15871 Terrazzo Drive. Carl Malone Power Sports is best characterized as a vehicle sales and service use focused on recreational motorized equipment, combining showroom, retail services, and limited outdoor display. The development is excuse me, a 2.96 acre development on Lot 8 in the Terrazzo Baja development north of Baptist Road. The proposed development includes a 30,000 square foot recreational vehicle sales and service building, associated parking, lighting, and landscaping. The final PUD will be reviewed based on relevant review criteria and forwarded to Town Council for consideration with a recommendation from this body this evening. As required pursuant to Land Development Code Section Chapter 18, the public notice was conducted at least 15 days prior to this public hearing. This slide essentially shows the subject property in the broader context of the area. The top property highlights that the subject site is south of some vacant property within the Terrazzo Baja commercial development. There's also vacant property to the south as well. To the east, we have the I-25 corridor, and then to the west sits the Tri-View Administrative Building. The comprehensive plan is shown there on the bottom map. The majority of the subject property is designated business campus with a slim buffer of park trails and open space fronting the I-25 corridor. A vehicle sales, service, and heavy repair facility is generally consistent with the intent of the business campus designation, which accommodates more intensive commercial uses such as manufacturing, assembly, and fabrication when conducted within enclosed structures and completely or appropriately screened from view. The proposal also supports the comprehensive plan's objective to preserve the western view. While the preliminary PUD allows buildings of heights up to 90 feet, the proposed development is limited to a two-story structure. Overall, the proposed use aligns with both the 2017 comprehensive plan and the permitted uses under the preliminary PUD. The Terrazzo Baja Commercial Development, aka our Santa Fe Park, has a long-standing history of planning approvals that you may be familiar with. It was first approved for its intended use through the Santa Fe Park Preliminary Planned Development Site Plan, and then that was adopted via Ordinance 10/2020 in July of 2020. And more recently, the Planning Commission approved a sketch plan for the Santa Fe Park that modified the existing Santa Fe Park PUD by reducing the number of individual lots. However, the overall acreage and the land remained unchanged. The key update was the drainage design for that area. The current proposal for the Carl Malone Power Sports final PUD aligns with both the approved preliminary PUD and the updated sketch plan, as the Power Sports store is characterized as a commercial use of vehicle sales, service, and repair / heavy per the Land Development Code. Now getting into the project details, the Carl Malone Power Sports proposes development of Lot 8 within the Terrazzo Baja Commercial Development and includes a 30-foot shared access easement to the property to the south, which would be Lot 9. So 10 foot of that easement would be on the subject parcel Lot 8, and the remaining 20 would be on Lot 9. Lot 8 of the development is the 2.96 acres of Carl Malone and will include the proposed store, the housing of the showroom floor, sales offices, maintenance areas, as well as associated parking and required landscaping. While the Terrazzo Baja currently ends in a cul-de-sac dead end to the south of the proposed development, it will be extended with utility mains being installed as part of the overall build-out of Terrazzo Baja Commercial Development civil plans. This work is intended to be completed prior to the construction of the subject Carl Malone building. The proposed development includes one two-story building, including 15 service bays, showroom, offices, and break rooms. There's, of course, a trash enclosure for the development and is located north of the main structure. And in the rear half of the lot, of course, shielding it from view while also maintaining the required access. The site includes a fenced-in portion at the rear or the east side of the lot intended for temporary storage of recreational vehicles that are staged for repair. This area will be secured with a roll gate and be partially covered by the awning of the building and secured with an opaque fence that you'll see a small image there on the top right. The building setbacks for the development do comply with the preliminary PUD and include a 118-foot front yard setback, a 139-foot internal side yard setback to the north, and a 31-foot side yard setback to the south. Additionally, a 50-foot setback from the I-25 corridor to the rear. Water and sanitary sewer services for the development will be provided by Tri-View Metropolitan District. Stormwater generated by the site will be managed through a combination of underground and surface detention facilities. Specifically, runoff will be captured and detained in an underground detention system, supplemented as well by a surface detention component. The combined systems would discharge at a historic rate over 7 days and outfall to the southwestern corner of the Terrazzo Baja development. Access to the site from Terrazzo Drive will be constructed as part of the larger Terrazzo Baja commercial development and is not included with the scope of this project as previously mentioned. In addition, as mentioned, of course, the applicant is proposing a shared access between lots 8 and 9 and concerning the access conversation. Parking for the development includes the required parking for motor vehicle sales and service, which is required to provide one parking stall for every 450 feet of floor area, plus one additional stall for every 10 feet, for every 10 outdoor vehicle display areas. So the total floor, including the first floor and a small portion of the second floor dedicated to the parks area, is roughly almost 31,000 square feet, resulting in a requirement of 69 parking spaces, plus the one additional for the outdoor display vehicles in the front. This brings the total parking requirement to 70. The plan provides 71 in total. To address the parking demands associated with the service bay, the applicant has proposed that screened area to the back. Ultimately, those staged RV vehicles, they aren't intended to be occupying regular parking vehicles for personal vehicles that are visiting the site. So they have accommodated those those vehicles in the secure area to the rear. Snow storage requirement for the development has been met per the land development code. It requires 1 square footage of snow storage for every 3 square feet of parking, driveway, walkway, and any other loading area to be cleared. The combined pavement and sidewalk areas on the site, it requires 25,166 square feet of snow storage. The available yard, together with 15% of the required parking, provides a total of 27,063 square feet of snow storage, thereby meeting the requirement. Landscaping for the proposed development includes foundation plantings, parking lot island caps, property perimeter, and landscape frontage consisting of rock mulch and a street frontage tree while allowing for space for display vehicles. Landscaping on the east property line, fronting the I-25 corridor, is comprised of 25 feet buffer planting consisting of 8 trees and a large array of shrubs intended to provide an attractive view from the highway. The southern property line is not landscaped. Of course, as we've discussed, it would provide that shared access drive. The overall landscaping for the property uses the hardy native species, and everything has been chosen from the approved plant list from the town of Monument. The building materials include a large mix varied between wood and cement board siding, stucco, brick block in several colors, wood timber beams, and metal panel roof accents. All colors in the design are natural and include no white. Signage for the property is proposed as a single signage plan that includes one monument sign located at the primary entrance, supplemented by wall-mounted signage throughout the building, across the building faces. The proposed monument sign would measure 80 square feet and complies with section 1806-310 of the Land Development Code and is appropriately positioned outside of the required clear sight triangle. The sign will be enhanced with a landscaped area extending 5 feet around its base, and the sign will be constructed of pewter gray split face block featuring the Karl Malone Power Sports display above each of the individual product names below. Wall signage is provided in accordance with the allowable 1.5 square feet of linear foot of building facade. So ultimately that eliminates the need for additional freestanding signs on the property, and they have elected not to do a freestanding sign on the highway frontage as well. The wall signs incorporate red, black, blue, and yellow accents, which are designed to complement and contrast with the muted earth tones of the building's architecture. So overall, the next 2 slides really give a perspective view of the final architecture of the project. When we mention 4-sided architecture, this is what we're talking about. Architecture has been enhanced on all 4 sides from all perspectives and all vantage points, including from the highway and our passersby who would like to stop in Monument. Next slide as well just gives an additional perspective view there. The applicant did provide a traffic impact study for the development, and the development is expected to generate about 866 weekly daily trips, including 64 trips during the morning hours and 72 during the evening peak hours. The analysis incorporated anticipated background growth, including nearby development and planned roadway connections, such as the extension of Terrazzo Drive and La Campagna Drive. Based on the 2026 development conditions, both with and without proposed development, all evaluated intersections are expected to operate at acceptable levels of service, and no roadway improvement or traffic mitigation measures are recommended. The applicant did provide a final drainage report for the development. The report concludes that the development has been designed according to and exceeding the El Paso County Drainage Criteria Manual. Stormwater runoff from the site will be, as I mentioned, a combination of underground and surface detention facilities. Based on the current data analysis included with the applicant's 2026 reports, town engineer concurred with the assessment of the final drainage report. As required, the applicant submitted an overall geohazard report for the Falcon Commerce Center. They submitted by NTEC their required geotechnical report, and on the right-hand side, you'll see that the engineer's review of the submittal document culminated in approval of all the technical plans. This square to the right is a correction from what it was included in your packet. I believe included in your packet listed there a condition that was defined as just a classic engineering condition and was taken out and not needed to be carried over to the ordinance. The next slide will show what you have in front of you, as we're all familiar with the conditions, or rather criteria of approval for a final PUD. Listing there 1 through 10, we have become familiar with wrapping our recommendation around the being in compliance with one or several of these criteria, if not all. And our final slide is providing language for a recommended motion. That does conclude my presentation. I know the applicant also has a pretty detailed presentation, so I'm available for questions now if you like, or at any time. If you have anything for me immediately?
Thanks, Jenna.
You're welcome.
We'll go ahead and invite the applicant to go ahead and share their presentation with us.
Good evening, Commission. My name is David Hicks. I represent the Carl Malone Group. I can maybe just speak real fast on who we are. Most people that were alive during the 90s know who Carl Malone is. Since his basketball career, he has invested heavily in the dealership business. We have 15 currently operating dealerships, half of them auto dealerships, half of them power sports dealerships. And this would be our 16th location, and our 17th location is actually in Colorado Springs, which we got approved for a location this morning at their commission meeting. We're very excited about the prospect of doing business in Monument. The manufacturers that we represent have identified this as a growth area, and what that means is that it's not an existing dealership that we are purchasing and moving here. It's a creation of a brand new dealership that they are putting here, which is in our business is a very big deal. Dealerships, they don't just open up new points very often, especially on the auto side. Power sports side is the same. So we are excited at the prospect to be here and to do business here, and we're excited to share our project with you. It's been a little bit of time in the works. There was a moratorium, I think, for a little while that we waited out, and some other things that we've worked through to get to this point. So we're very excited to share our project with you. From where the project started to where it is today, we have been closely following Planning Commission in Monument and also Town Council in Monument. And we have listened to some of the feedback that has been talked about in previous meetings, especially with, I think there's another dealership that recently got approved here. And we've taken that feedback that we've heard from commission and from council and gone back to the drawing board per se, worked extensively with the staff to incorporate the comments that we have heard and to what Monument's vision is for what they would like to see in their city. So with that, I have Aaron Bliss with me. He is our architect. I also have our civil engineer, Cal Johnson from Legend Engineering, that is here. Aaron is going to give you a presentation of kind of where our project started a couple of years ago, and then also to where we ended up today, to what our finished product is after working with staff and some of the recommendations. So with that, I'll have Aaron come up and walk you through that, and then obviously we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Bliss. Thank you all for attending. Appreciate the quorum very much. We traveled a long way to be here, so Thank you very much for your time. My name is Aaron Bliss. I am the project architect with Bliss Architecture. As you can see in this first slide, it's just a general context plan. You can see the interstate along there on the right, and then up towards the top of the drawing is our project site. Next slide, please. This is our overall site plan. I won't spend too much time on it. Jenna went over it primarily, and Cal can answer any questions regarding the site plan, but just wanted to give you some general context of how the site works. Next slide, please. This is our floor plan, first floor plan. The first sort of half of the building toward your left, on the left side of the screen, is the showroom space. Toward the bottom, on the southern half of the building, southern end of the building, is the Honda dealer. It's the Honda showroom. And then on the north side of the showroom, which is the larger space there, is designated for Polaris and BRP. And then toward the east side of the building, toward the east back half of the building, are the service bays. Next slide, please. And then the second floor, there's a small 3,000 square foot space designated for parts storage. Next slide. Okay, so as David mentioned previously, we started this project back in 2024, probably actually 2023 actually, and then there's the moratorium. And then we ended up submitting drawings, preliminary drawings for PUD in June of 2024. And that's what these drawings are showing here. Exterior elevations, as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It was just a rectangular metal box with a gable roof and one material color. And I think, as you'll see, and hopefully agree with me, is that over time and through this process of working with staff and with Jenna over these last couple of years, the design of this building has improved significantly. Next slide, please. And then this was our second design attempt. We're still keeping with the rectangular form of the building with no breaks in the walls. We're still staying with the gable roof structure. We ended up just changing up the materials to darker metal colors with some red and yellow and silver accents. And then ended up bringing in some wood elements to help soften up the facades a little bit. And then again, this was submitted back in February of 2025. Next slide. These are just the north and south elevations of that same design. Again, you can see primarily all darker colors, grays, and minimal color materials on the facades. And then the next slide. And then these would be the east and west elevations. And again, you can see just fairly monotone with gray colors on both sides of the building. And then this next drawing shows, actually, those are that's still the same design that was submitted. Actually, the design changed slightly. This is back in October 2025. Again, gable roof, fairly monotone in color with gray colors, metal panels, a little bit of concrete block toward the bottom of the building, and then introducing some wood gable sort of accent materials. Next slide shows the east and west elevations of that same design. Actually, those are just exterior renderings. And again, trying to break it up a little bit with some wood accents, but still fairly monotone in color. And then I believe we submitted in the next drawing, you'll see. This was submitted in March of 2026. And we are attempting to break up the mass, the gable roof of the building, of the structure, by breaking up that front facade that you see from Terrazzo by introducing sort of a butterfly type of form. And then on the front facade there, which is the west elevation, which you see from Terrazzo, introducing some wood elements and some wood trellis structures to help provide some depth to that facade and soften up the facade. And then the next drawings, I believe, are that same design as well, just the north and south elevations. And then when we submitted these drawings in March of 2026, it came back to us that around that same time, the Chevy dealership, I believe, that went in front of the commission, was sent back to the table due to the prominence of their metal panels and a lack of creativity, for the lack of a better word, with their design. And so that sort of, again, put us back to the drawing board of looking at how we could soften up this building with different colors, more natural colors, more natural materials, and eliminating a lot of the metal panels, if not all, on the structure. And so I believe this next set of drawings is these were renderings that were submitted in March of 2026 as well. And again, you're trying to break up that big gable roof, break up the roof line. And then I believe this next set of drawings here is our current design. And so we still, because of this is a partially a Honda dealership, we have to stay with the red and black and silver of that prototypical design for Honda. And that's what you see on that south elevation there in that drawing at the top, with those red and black and silver metal accent colors. But with the rest of the building, the intent was to bring in more earth tone colors, grays, silvers still, but more reds and browns. Also bring in more concrete block, more wood, and mix up the materials of the building, and also add some depth to the facades by adding in gabled roofs, adding in some pop outs and awning structures over the windows to provide solar shading, and then adding in wood elements as well to help soften up the overall design. Next drawing. The drawing at the top, that's the elevation view from Terrazzo Drive. Introduce gable vestibules and gable awnings or gabled roofs at the entry points to the showroom entrances, and then brought in wood trellis elements over all the windows, and then brought in some additional wood materials and concrete block, as well as cement board siding and stucco. And then these are the renderings there, giving you perspective views. And I'm not sure if you can all see the material board up front there. I'm not sure if those online can see it. Are you able to see it? If I step away, you probably can't hear me on the mic, but yeah, that'd be great. Sure. Okay, that'd be great. So yeah, on the upper left-hand corner, there are two gray pieces there. Those are the stucco colors. And then to the right of those are the concrete block colors. The gray on the upper right-hand side is the gray concrete band that goes around the whole entire perimeter of the building. And then the split face concrete block sample there is the accent color with the vertical piers that you see on the renderings there. And then we've also got cement board siding. It's hard to see in that rendering, but that cement board siding is above the concrete block. And then also we've added in some tongue and groove wood siding. That's natural wood. It's naturally stained. And that's occurring at some of those pop outs where the gable roofs are occurring. And it really helps warm up the facade and ties in with the natural colors of the surrounding mountains. And then also the wood trellises that pop out, you can see over the windows, those will be Doug fir wood columns and beams, and they'll be stained to match that wood siding as well. So trying to introduce some more natural colors, earth tones, and soften up the overall facade of the building. So that's all I have here. So if there are any questions.
Nothing right now, but is there anyone else that wants to speak?
One thing that I'll just add that maybe you were wondering, so on the Honda side, it looks a little bit different. So Honda, they have about 1,100 dealerships in the country. Somewhere around 50 of them are what they call a Honda powerhouse. To the normal person, that doesn't mean a lot. It means a lot to us. This will be a Honda powerhouse. So Honda came to us and said, if you give us our own side of the dealership, our own showroom that's separate from the rest, and you give us our prototype trim on the exterior, make it look like that, we will make you a powerhouse dealership. In our business, that's a big deal. So we said, okay. And so that's what we're proposing to do, which is why the Honda side looks a little bit different, because those are some of the elements that Honda requires in order to be a Honda powerhouse, to have that prototypical look on the exterior. So I just wanted to maybe speak to that so you know why that side does look different on the outside than the rest, because we're trying to meet Honda's guidelines on that to be able to be that level of a dealer with them. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else from staff?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, since this is a public hearing, we'll open up now for any public comments or questions regarding this project. Anyone in the chambers that wants to speak, go ahead and raise your hand or come on up to the podium and sign in, please. Seeing no one in the chambers, Ray, do we have anyone online that has raised their hand wanting to speak?
If anyone online wants to participate, please utilize the raise your hand function. I will wait a moment. I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. We'll close the public hearing section or session, or the public comment session of the public hearings, and move to questions and comments from commissioners. Commissioner Trujillo.
None at this time. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Hatch.
I have a few questions, and you've addressed some of those. Why is it red? The question I have is that Honda also has a really pretty blue.
Yes, Honda on the auto side, their flag color is blue. On the power sports side, it's red with the red Honda wing. And so, yeah, anything on the auto side that represents Honda's blue, anything on the power sports side for Honda is red.
Okay, thank you for that. The other question I have is on the fencing. You have a solid, is that metal fence, correct?
Yes, it's metal panels.
Metal panels, no slats, no spacing for wind, because we get a lot of wind.
Well, we received some feedback that it would be better received if it was fully screened, so that you're not seeing through into a storage area where there could maybe be, maybe a machine that is torn apart in the shop waiting for something, or maybe something that, you wouldn't want the public to be viewing. So also it's a security issue. Some of our other dealerships, we have that same material, and with chain link or some other fences, I know chain link's not desirable, but we have some pretty serious theft issues and people cutting the fence, and it's pretty easy to cut a hole in a fence and push a dirt bike out. You can't push a car through a fence very easy, but smaller items you can, and so we're protecting against the security as well with that.
And I must have overlooked the back view of the property, because I did not see a picture of that. Is there going to be signage that actually faces east towards the highway? Or is it just going to be plain?
Yes, there is one sign that was in the presentation on the east view. So all of the brand signage is on the north and south elevations. On the east is the freeway view, correct? Am I thinking about that right? Freeway view, there's one sign on that side, which is just the Karl Malone Power Sports logo. But as far as our manufacturer branding, there's none on the east view.
Roof material.
The roof material is a metal roof material. Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Peterson, if you can hear me and you have some comments, you're welcome to join in.
I can hear you. I don't have any comments at this time. Thank you.
All right. And Commissioner Bomber, same for you.
Good evening. Cal, Aaron, thank you very much. Thanks for modifying the renderings back from what was presented in March to be more aligned with what our town's vision of wanting to maintain that small town feel. At this time, I have no further issues with your renderings, no comments. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, I've got a couple questions. Can you just revisit the customer and employee parking and how that's differentiated on the site for me and tell me where that's at?
So we've got customer parking immediately adjacent to the building. And then on the north side of the building, there's some additional customer parking there. And then on the far side of that drive lane is the employee parking furthest away from the building. And then the parking for the use designation parking code maintenance phase, is that the use designation? That is all in the back in the fenced area.
Gotcha. I noticed on the north end that those parking slots look like they're elongated. I assume it's for loading after sales, someone pulling in a trailer, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's it. Okay, I'll come back to that in a moment because I know that's not your expertise, but I did want to ask a question of the underground runoff collection.
Yeah.
How unique is that not to this project, but other projects that we may have? And can you give me some examples of where that's worked in the past and why this won't be a detriment to the site and ultimately to causing damage downstream?
Right. So I can speak to the projects that I've done, and then perhaps y'all can kind of speak to some of the projects in Monument. Our company does projects all over the West, anything west of the Mississippi River, basically. And we see underground storage utilized in every state that we work in: California, Oregon, Washington State. And the key factor in utilizing underground storage is accounting for the infiltration, if infiltration is desired. You can design underground stormwater storage to either infiltrate to the subsurface, or it can be wrapped in a material that does not allow any infiltration, and so that it sends it straight downstream after it's held and detained past that peak storm. So as far as impacts, negative impacts to your groundwater, aquifer, or anything of that nature are actually zero. It's the same as an at-grade system. And these underground systems even have additional filtration rows within them where some of the sediment and the debris is filtered out before it reaches the infiltration side. So it's just as if you were going to run that over an at-grade type basin. there's not anything that we've done in any of the states that we work in that has come to be an issue, you know, whether it's states that have a lot of rain like Washington State, or states that get a lot of snow, or very dry states. There are different applications with how you place those chambers over stone or whatever material, and then how you wrap them. Between those two factors, you can handle just about any situation related to the soils you can find on site. So we're very comfortable with them. Do underground storage all over the place and have no issues with negative impacts to the groundwater.
Okay, thank you. Let me turn to the staff then. Can you give me some examples where we have that in place elsewhere in the town of Monument right now?
With my semi-limited experience here in the town, I would simply say that my experience in more urbanized areas would mirror what Cal had to say. Oftentimes you're limited to underground detention. So I would say that those are highly engineered. While the technical aspects are outside of my wheelhouse, I would feel confident in that utilization, especially coupled with the surface facility as well.
And our town engineer has,
Absolutely
Sorry.
reviewed and approved with recommendation.
okay, all right. Thank you. I had a couple other questions regarding sales. So I had a question, besides OHV vehicles, are you going to be selling trailers as well?
Yes.
So where will those be displayed at? Are those displayed outside or will they be displayed in a showroom? How are those displayed?
Well, maybe I should clarify that. When you say a trailer, are you talking about a recreational vehicle trailer, like a camp trailer? Or are you talking?
Like a flatbed trailer to tow the.
Okay, that a side by side would go on?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
great. That's exactly what I was talking about. I just want to make sure we were speaking the same language. Because yes, we don't sell any camp trailers, but our most common trailer is like a 7x14 that would carry a side by side. And no, we do not display them in the showroom. They're usually in the storage fenced area. We usually
Okay.
carry 2 or 3 at a time. We're not really in the trailer business. We sell trailers to facilitate selling our vehicles
Okay.
as you know, to make it easier for a customer. But in reality, frankly, trailers don't make any money. We just sell them so that we can sell the units. And so we stock 3 or 4 of them at a time, and we'll sell them and then when they sell, we'll get a few more.
Okay, great. All right, that's all I have at this time. Any other questions from anyone else on the commission? That would include you, Commissioner Peterson or Commissioner Balmer. No
No.
other questions or comments? All right, we'll go ahead and close the hearing at this point, and I'll entertain a motion regarding this particular application.
This is Donna Hatch. I forward a recommendation of approval to the Town of Council for the Carl Malone Power Sports Final PUD plan located on lots 8 and 9 in the Terrazzo Baja Commercial Development, supported by the reference documents and findings of facts listed in the staff report, specifically 1, 6, and 10.
We have a second.
Commissioner Trujillo, I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Approval. Ray, can you take roll, please?
Yes, thank you. Chair Egley,
Yes.
Vice Chair Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Baumer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hatch,
Yes.
and Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, none opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to the second item on our agenda this evening. Another public hearing, request for the approval of the Connexus Lot 1 Filing 2 Final Planned Unit Development. And the presentation is by Ray Medina, Town Planner.
Thank you. One moment, please.
You bet.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Apologies for that extra moment. Just needed to get myself set up here. It's been a while. Nice to see you all. Thank you guys for being here tonight. We appreciate everybody who was available today and was able to make quorum. That was wonderful. Today I'll be presenting Connexus Lot 2 filing, Connexus Lot 1 filing to Hill Point as an abbreviated term as final planned unit development. The applicant, Hill Point LLC, represented by Jason Alwine of NES Colorado, is requesting approval of a final planned unit development for Connexus Lot 1 filing 2. This request pertains to the development of Lot 1 within the Connexus Phases 2 and 3 preliminary PUD plan. The proposed project encompasses a 19.1 acre parcel designated for high-density residential use with an allowed density range of 12 to 20.89 dwelling units per acre, permitting a maximum of 399 units. The applicant is proposing a total of 354 residential units consisting of 312 apartment units and 42 townhome-style units. Pursuant to Chapter 18 of our Land Development Code, Section 1801-260D, public notice was conducted at least 15 days prior to this public hearing by mail and property posting. Mailed notices went out to the property owners within 500 feet of the property. The subject property located on Connexus Lot 1. To the north, we have Lot 4 of Connexus, which remains undeveloped. To the south is a larger tract B of Connexus, mostly being utilized for stormwater management. To the east is the I-25 highway corridor. And to the west is Lot 2 of Connexus, the recently approved Meritage single-family housing project. Moving forward with our comprehensive plan, the 2017 Town of Monument Comprehensive Plan designates the Connexus Phases 2 and 3 area, including Lot 1, as a business campus. This land use category is primarily intended to support employment-generating uses such as office, research, and light commercial development, with residential uses envisioned only as a complementary component that might create a sense of balance in a master-planned environment. While the proposed multifamily and townhome development is not the central use anticipated within the business campus designation, it is consistent with the plan's broader objective of integrating housing opportunities within proximity to future employment areas to reduce commute distances and support a more complete community. Moving forward to our project details, we'll talk a bit about the history of Connexus. The Connexus Phases 2 and 3 development has a well-established history of land use entitlements and coordinated planning approvals. The property was first rezoned from Regency Park Planned Industrial Development to Planned Development on September 8th, 2020, the Town of Monument Ordinance 2020. This rezoning, along with the associated sketch plan, established a broad framework of permitted industrial, commercial, office, civic, and residential uses for the property. A subsequent preliminary planned unit development, or PUD plan, for Connexus Phases 2 and 3 was approved on February 22nd, 2022 by Resolution 11-2022 and recorded on June 29th, 2022. This approval followed an extensive public engagement process that included multiple meetings and revisions to the plan. The preliminary PUD plan refined the distribution of land uses, clarified development and design standards, and provided greater specificity regarding the intended build-out of the property. As part of this refinement, the plan included the realignment of Old Denver Road through the Connexus development to shift traffic away from the established neighborhoods to the west. All prior approvals, including the PD zoning sketch PD plan, and preliminary PUD plan, were evaluated within the context of the town's 2017 comprehensive plan and were found to be consistent with its goals and policies. A final plat for Connexus filing number 2, encompassing the entirety of Connexus Phases 2 and 3, was recorded on September 15th, 2022. This plat established the legal lots and tracts for the development in a manner consistent with the approved preliminary PUD plan. The current request for approval of the final planned unit development of Connexus Lot 1 filing 2 represents the next step in implementing the land use vision and development framework established through these prior entitlements. Project details. So Lot 1 of Connexus contains several recorded easements that support utility service and site functionality. This includes a 20-foot Triview Metropolitan District easement, 10-foot AT&T easement, 25-foot gas easement, 20-foot Mountain View Electric easement, 10-foot public improvements, and general utility easement. These easements were established through the Connexus filing number 2 final plat and remain in place to ensure coordinated utility access and long-term service reliability. Building setbacks for the development comply with the standards established in the approved PUD and include a 25-foot setback along Old Denver Road to the west, a 50-foot setback along the I-25 corridor to the east, a 25-foot setback along the northern property line, and no applicable setback requirement along the southern property due to its presence of Tract B as part of this development. Parking. The preliminary PUD plan requires parking to comply with Town Code Section 1805-215, resulting in a minimum requirement of 552 spaces based on the mix of 2 and 3 bedroom units. The final PUD plan significantly exceeds this requirement by providing a total of 727 parking spaces distributed across a variety of parking types, including 457 standard surface spaces, 22 ADA spaces, 74 garage spaces, 2 ADA accessible garage spaces, 84 townhome driveway spaces, and 84 townhome garage spaces. The combination of surface, garage, and driveway parking ensures adequate capacity for residents and visitors while supporting the functional needs of the multifamily and townhome components of the development. Snow storage requirements for the development have been fully satisfied. In accordance with Land Development Code Section 1805-245, number 10, 1 square foot of snow storage is required for every 3 square feet of parking, driveway, walkway, and loading area to be cleared. The applicant has provided a detailed snow storage calculation chart on the cover sheet of the final PUD, demonstrating compliance with these standards. Adequate snow storage areas are incorporated throughout the site to ensure safe and effective winter operations. Landscaping. The landscape design for Connexus Lot 1 Filing 2 has been developed to meet the requirements of the approved preliminary PUD plan, while supporting the community's goals for high-quality, visually cohesive, and sustainable residential environments. The preliminary PUD plan established required building and landscape setbacks along I-25, Old Denver Road, and the internal lot lines, all of which are reflected on the submitted final PUD plan and landscaping plan. A key landscape requirement of the preliminary PUD plan is the minimum 50-foot wide setback between the proposed industrial development on Lot 4 to the north and the proposed multifamily residential development on Lot 1. This setback must include a minimum 15-foot wide landscape buffer. All inhabited apartment buildings are located outside this required separation, with the nearest residential building positioned approximately 86 feet from the shared property boundary. The required 15-foot landscape buffer along the northern boundary is incorporated into the final PUD plan and includes 1 evergreen tree per 25 linear feet, resulting in a total of 24 evergreen trees. These plantings provide a year-round screening, softens views and between the residential and industrial uses, and enhances the visual transition between land uses. Landscape standards are met through the installation of 177 trees, 1,375 shrubs, and 790 grasses, collectively providing about 75% live ground plane coverage for the site. This plant mix supports seasonal interest, long-term durability, and a cohesive landscape character throughout the development. In total, the final PUD plan includes about 7.2 acres of landscape area, open space, or amenity space, representing 38% of the entire site area. Landscaping maintenance responsibilities are divided between the Connexus Metropolitan District and the owner of Lot 1. The landscaped area between the curb and sidewalk along Old Denver Road will be maintained by the Metropolitan District, ensuring consistent care along the public corridor. All internal landscaping, including open space, amenity areas, and buffer plantings, will be maintained by the Lot 1 property owner. Moving forward to architecture, the Connexus Phase 2 and 3 PUD establishes architectural and design standards intended to ensure high-quality, cohesive development throughout the project area. These standards prohibit the use of metal buildings for principal structures, although metal may be used for accessory buildings. All primary buildings are required to incorporate materials such as CMU block, concrete, brick, stone, stucco, wood, or cement siding on all 4 sides, and building colors must be drawn from an earth tone palette with accent colors permitted. The PUD also requires that outdoor storage areas, loading docks, and trash enclosures be fully screened through opaque structures or enhanced landscaping. Architecture design standards further require variety in architectural character across buildings while maintaining a consistent overall theme. I'll let the applicant go further and further into the actual architectural and design details. Just another note, all outdoor lighting must comply with sections 1805-320 and 1805-330 of the town's municipal code, and parking lot lighting is limited to a maximum mounting height of 30 feet. The architectural elevations included with the final PUD plan demonstrate full compliance with their standards. Variation in building scale, roof design, and parapet height is incorporated throughout the development. All rooftop mechanical equipment will be fully screened from view. Signage. All signage for the development shall comply with the standards outlined in Chapter 1806 of the town's municipal code as amended. All signs will require the submittal of a separate sign permit application to the planning department for review and approval. The Connexus property owner will be responsible for the long-term maintenance of all entry signs. As an additional point, noise, the approved preliminary PUD plan requires that a noise study be completed for the proposed multifamily residential use on Lot 1. They prepared a traffic noise impact study to evaluate potential noise. The study determined that several receiver locations within development are predicted to exceed a 66 decibels per acre threshold under future traffic conditions. However, the analysis further concluded that an installation of a continuous noise barrier would reduce noise levels at all modeled locations to be below that acceptable threshold. Moving forward to traffic analysis and final drainage. The traffic technical memorandum by LSC Transportation Consultants evaluates the transportation impacts of the proposed 354 unit Connexus Lot 1 development, analyzing roadway conditions, traffic volume, access, and multimodal factors along the realigned Old Denver Road. This development is estimated to generate about 2,214 average weekday trips, 475 fewer than previously projected in earlier traffic analyses. Overall, the analysis confirms that the roadway network can accommodate the development and aligns with the conservative assumptions of the 2022 Master Traffic Impact Study and supports safe, efficient operations with conclusions being validated by the town's engineering consultant, IMEG. The final drainage report for Connexus Lot 1 documents the hydraulic and hydrologic design used to safely convey and manage stormwater in compliance with El Paso County and the Mile High Flood District criteria based on the overall approved master final drainage report. The design maintains existing drainage patterns and divides the site into multiple basins that discharge through 4 primary connections to the public storm system along Old Denver Road, with flow rates generally consistent with or below those anticipated in the master final drainage report. Stormwater is conveyed through a combination of underground pipes, swales, and overland flow, with emergency overflow directed southwest toward the detention facility. This report concluded that the proposed drainage system provided adequate capacity, meets regulatory requirements, and incorporates water quality and runoff reduction measures, and will not create an adverse impact to downstream or adjacent properties. On this slide, we just have a general statement of criteria for review. I believe our senior planner, Jenna, had also provided these list of 10 final PUD plan requirements for review. And finally, in conclusion, staff has provided language for a suggested motion. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Ray. Will the applicant be adding anything?
Yes, I believe the applicant does have a presentation to follow up with this. One moment.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jason Allwine, a principal with NES, here representing the developer and the applicant for the Lot 1 Connexus. What we call Point Grand Haven Monument is the internal name, but known externally as Connexus Lot 1. We do have several members of our team here tonight to answer any questions that come up, maybe related to engineering, traffic, or kind of the site history. But at this time, I would like to introduce Marcus Wiedauer with Hill Point. He'll go for a few slides of it, who Hill Point is and what they do and what they're going to bring to this community.
Good evening, Marcus Wiedauer. I'm with Hill Point, and I get to go around and kind of share our story of who we are, how we do things, and what our true mission is. And the reality is today, a lot of Americans think the American dream is dead or dying. It's not because they don't want to work hard, don't want to succeed. It's that they feel like it's slipping away with the housing crisis and the ability to, that follow that dream of getting an education, saving up some money, buying a home, restart a family, or start the next chapter of your life. With Hill Point, we're filling that market. 100% of our units are 80 to 120% of AMI. We come in $100, sometimes $200 in some markets, less than any other product like it in the market. Our entire mission is that we don't believe that our tenant should have to sacrifice their dignity today for an opportunity tomorrow. So what we do is we do that through vertical integration. Our mission is to deliver critically needed attainable housing for the workforce, the doers. These are people that make your community go round. These are the teachers that are teaching your children, the police officers that are protecting your communities. These are essential workers. I often will say that everybody wants their hot coffee in the morning, but nobody really thinks or cares about where the barista lives. But these are units that are Class A apartments. We do that through vertical integration. We have a couple of different products in this particular project. We have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, dual master apartment, and we have a 3-bedroom townhouse. But we're able to provide those rents because we're not only the developer, we are also the builder. We are also the owner, long-term hold, and leasing structure, soup to nuts. If you see somebody on that site, it is a Hill Point employee from the very beginning to the very end. We like to come in. I've learned a lot about Monument. I've been out in Colorado a good bit, and we like to come into communities and really learn how you guys operate, the things that you guys need, and adhere to your principles and your regulations. So we're excited to be here, and we look forward to building that relationship for a long time. These units, as I said, these are high quality units. I will often say I love my home, but if something happened, if it flooded out or burned down, these are units that I absolutely would move into. These are keyless entry, solid surface countertops, tile, showers. The amenities is where we really exceed. We want our tenants to have a more than enjoyable experience. We've modified over the years as work from home has become more and more prevalent. We have a conference room in the clubhouse that they can come in, a cafe they can come in and have coffee every morning, a full fitness center. We even have a professional dog spa, so they can come in and wash their animals right there, walk them up in a commercial grooming equipment, so they don't have to wrestle them into their own shower in their units. We have the array of amenities, whether that's our resort style pools or pickleball courts or dog parks, playgrounds, what have you. There we go. This is a slide just representing, what if we talk a lot about AMI, and obviously, a lot of these people get placed in a really bad position of they make too much money to qualify for any subsidies, and they don't make enough money to actually save money and live in the product that's being developed and put on the market in this 70, 80 to 120% of AMI. And this slide just really tells you who those people are. These are registered nurses. These are veterinarians. These are people that are starting their careers with good, solid jobs, but they fall in this missing middle of being able to save money or getting priced out of subsidized housing. I believe I'm going to turn this back over, but I would love to answer any questions about Hill Point that you guys have. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Allwine again with NES. Some of what I have is repeat from Ray's presentation, but I think it's important given the history and kind of context of the property of the past few years. So bear with me on some of the repeat information. Zoom out a little bit. This is an area map showing where Connexus Phase 2 and 3 generally is. Our Connexus Lot 1 is shaded there in red in between I-25, Old Denver Road and the new Dot Close Road between 2nd Street and Baptist. And you can see also outlined in red is the Connexus Phase 1 where the Woodman Valley Chapel Church is located and constructed. A little bit about that timeline going back into the 80s. Was originally zoned industrial by El Paso County. Late 1987, late 80s, it was brought into Town of Monument as a PID through annexation process. Then it kind of sat for a little bit. The area west of Old Denver Road, that was rezoned and built up as residential. You see that now with the existing communities that are there. And then in around the 2020 area, there was a PUD rezone to get rid of the straight PID to a mixed use residential, commercial, residential uses. And then shortly after that time is when the application came for the larger industrial complex. And then that facilitated some neighborhood questions and concerns. From that, the Save Monument Group really took hold, had several discussions and meetings with the master developer. You can see that the 3 stars there over the course of several months. There were meetings with the Save Monument town neighbors. And I think that bore some good fruit because as a result of that, in 2022, the Connexus prelim plan PUD was approved. That's the phase 2 and 3 that we'll talk more in detail. And in conjunction with that, the Connexus Metropolitan District was approved. So from those discussions, we've had several approvals and recent development going back that 2022 timeframe. Fast forward a little bit to the 2024 Lost Island. Can't miss it, now under construction, set to open shortly. Last year, the Meritage single family development was approved. I believe the utilities are also under construction on that. And then this year, today, starting the public hearing process for the Hill Point Connexus Lot 1 development. This slide, really what I want to highlight is, here's all the applications that have been submitted in the past several years. Other than, I think what's important to note, other than the initial vote of August 2020, 4-1 vote, every vote has been approved unanimously. And I think that goes back to the cooperation of the master developer, the consultant team, and the town and the neighbors to show that, working together, collaborative effort, that what was promised in 2022 is coming to fruition over the past several years. And then here we focus on the Connexus prelim plan the recorded phase 2 and 3, several different uses. That's the mixed use component. I'll kind of work north is to the left. It's a long linear site. So north is to the plan left. Lot 3, that's the vacant commercial kind of civic office use. Lot 4A, that's the Lost Island under construction now. Lot 4B in purple there remains vacant. That's for industrial site. We are, of course, Lot 1 highlighted in red today that was approved for that high density residential use. Then the Lot 2, that's the Meritage site. That's the single family detached development that was approved last year. You can see as part of this preliminary PUD plan, the realignment of Old Denver Road, now between Lot 2 and the remaining lots along I-25. And then the Dock Close Road, which is the old Denver Road, recently renamed. And then also want to point out on the ends of the overall project, track B and C, those are the 2 detention facilities. Those are already built and constructed. Those capture the stormwater for entirety of the prelim plan east of Old Denver Road. And then tracks A, E, and D, that's roughly 27, a little over 27 acres of dedicated open space as part of the master public improvement agreement, that open space is dedicated to the town as open space. From a use standpoint, this site we're talking about tonight, the Lot 1, roughly 19 acres approved for high density residential, 12 to 20.89 D per acre. It's a max unit count of 399 units with a building height of 75 feet. Now we'll focus on our site specifically. So it is 19 acres, a total of 354 units. That's made up of 312 3-story apartment units. That's kind of the light tannish or light pink, with 42 3-bedroom townhome units. Those are fronting or along Old Denver Road. We have 2 access points into the site. Our main one is kind of the center there above the numeral 70. That is where our monument sign will be located. It's kind of like a waist high or chest high monument sign that you kind of see for entrances to developments. And then right off that, you'll see some of the amenities, the amenity center, the fitness center, the pool that also has the outdoor kitchen and the fire pit. It's hard to see, but just north of that or to the left, a little blue square, that is the pickleball court. And then opposite side, where it says 3 units or 8 units and 4 units by Santa Fe Regional Trail, that is the fenced-in dog park. So that's the amenities that Mark has talked about providing for the residents. Ray had mentioned it about a noise study. We do have an 8-foot noise wall. It's kind of hard to see on here, but essentially runs the entire length of the eastern frontage along I-25 from north to south that is located on the landscape setback. So it's hard to see on this plan, but that 8-foot noise wall is proposed with a concrete panel, kind of precast concrete panel pipe fence to block that noise. Additionally, we do have detached garages. You can see labeled garage. Those are like garage type units that are also available for rent. And then from a utility standpoint, Triview will provide the water and wastewater, and they did provide a preliminary letter of commitment to serve this site. Just looking at a comparison chart from what was approved with the preliminary PUD and what we're proposing. Again, high density residential, 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom townhomes. We came in under the density at 18.53 with 354 total units, where 399 was approved. A big difference in the height. The 3-story apartments are roughly 42 feet, 41 feet 10 inches. The 2-story townhomes are 30 feet 4 inches, so that's quite a bit less than what was approved for this site at 75 feet. Setbacks are in line with 50 foot along I-25, 25 along Old Denver Road, and then the internal buffers to the north and south. And then Ray did mention it, but we are providing about 175 more parking spaces than required. Per the town code, we need 552. We're providing a mix of surface parking, garage spaces, and then each townhome has 2-car garage and 2 driveway spaces. That's how we get to that total of 727 spaces. And then from an open space standpoint, as I mentioned, 27.5 acres were dedicated as part of the overall Connexus prelim PUD plan. But with this site specifically, we've got the amenity center, the fitness, the pool, outdoor kitchen, the dog park, pickleball court, and then several connections to the Old Denver Road sidewalk, which then connects to the adjacent Santa Fe Trail. From a traffic standpoint, we know we got some questions, both neighborhood meeting and when we did the check-in earlier this year. The box in green, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the box in green is the traffic counts is what was approved. You can see kind of lot 1, lot 2, and lot 4A. Those are the most recent projects approved or in process. What was estimated then versus what was actually the final counts. And today we're a little over 1,800 units or traffic shifts less than what was proposed. So we're actually, once these final uses come in, our traffic volumes are actually decreasing from what was originally proposed and estimated at that time. We'll know more when lot 3 comes in, obviously when lot 4B comes in with those uses, but right now we're trending with less traffic volumes than originally proposed. It was at that time, you sort of anticipate a highest and best use. And then when we come with the final unit counts, Meritage came in less than approved, and this site has less units as well. Just a couple of highlights from the traffic. Again, 2 access points into this. There is a proposed right turn lane into the main entrance into our site where the sign was. Kind of recent studies indicate that from the traffic growth from 2023 to 2026 is still remains at or below the original baseline projections from the traffic study. And then finally, with regards to other intersection improvements, the master developer has submitted designs for intersection improvements at 2nd Street and Beacon Light Road. That's part of that master PIA agreement, and has also contributed funds to help with that future construction. And kind of zoom out, and I think this map helps a little bit from kind of the offsite improvement maps. You can see kind of where our site lies in context. The blue, the thick blue line there is the realigned Old Denver Road. You can see at either end there's the orange kind of circles. Those are the north and south, what we call intersections to be improved. Those intersections are a full stop, meaning everyone comes to a stop in all conditions. There's no free movements through that. So that's where Dot Close Road will meet the Old Denver Road reconstruction there. Then you can see that Dot Close Road, which will remain, the Old Denver Road, Dot Close Road remains as is. You can see again at the 2 orange circle areas, that's where the Santa Fe Trail crosses. That's that line in red. Because those intersections are stop control, that helps pedestrians cross safely as opposed to hitting a button or just south of 2nd Street where there's the flashing pedestrian light. This is actually a stop controlled intersection, so the pedestrians can go cross safely. For connections From our site and as well as the other Connexus lots, we have a 5-foot sidewalk along the new Old Denver Road, as well as a 3-foot breeze trail. So it's a total of an 8-foot corridor. So if one doesn't want to necessarily cross the intersection twice, they can continue north or south from the Santa Fe Trail on a public sidewalk or a breeze trail without crossing the road in 2 different locations. From a timing standpoint, I'd like to point out that from Old Denver Road, the realignment, the grading's done, what utilities are done, and the 2 detention facilities are done. The north and south transitions, that's those connection points, those are to be constructed in August, September. And then as we move inward a little bit, we had some intersection improvements to Creek Valley and Buffalo Valley, just intersection improvements. Those will be done hopefully August, September, and then complete construction done September, October of this year. Lost Island's expected to open in 2027 with the Meritage single family construction started with utilities. That's that lot 2 there. From a site analysis, I want to bring this up because we think it's important as we talk about apartments or big buildings, going back to some previous apartment developments that have been built recently. View corridors and massing is important consideration. As you can see, most of our buildings are perpendicular to Interstate 25 that preserve those east-west corridors through the buildings. Additionally, I'd like to point out that we purposely put the townhomes along Old Denver Road. Those are the 30-foot height. Those are very close to the max height that was permitted with the Meritage of 32-foot max height. So those units, townhome, single-family detached, are very compatible in their bulk scale and height to help with that streetscape corridor along there. And then the bright yellow is just that continued pedestrian sidewalk connection north and south along the Santa Fe Trail. From a density transition, it works from a planning side. Again, Interstate 25 to the top to the east, we have our multifamily proposed at 18.5 DU per acre. We come inward a little bit, a little less density of just under 7 DU per acre for the Meritage, and then further inward with the existing residents anywhere from 2.5 up to almost 5 DU per acre. So this kind of shows that transition from the really intense uses next to the interstate to less intense uses, single family detached, as we get westward into the community. And then spoke briefly upon, but this is a rendering of the 24-unit building. You can see the variation in colors. It's cement fiber board and batten. We got the window panes, the awnings on the windows and the doorways with the variation in color and texture on this. And this is similar with the 36-unit building. Both the fronts and the rears of this are the same because you can come in from either direction. This is a rendering of the townhome. Again, a similar palette. You can see the stone veneer around the garage here with a different variation in the fronts. You got the recessed entry, so there's some variation there, as well as the roof line. So it's not just a flat kind of roof line across the building. This is just an example of what the garage, and then the lower right is the mail kiosk, the mail room that's adjacent to the amenity center. Here's the amenity center. That's where some of the functions that Marcus talked about could happen. The leasing office, the pool's just behind this. And then very similar architecture. This is the fitness, and then just to the left behind the fence is where the pool is located. Would like to point out some of the public engagement we had over the process. In January, we met with Save Monument. A week later, we hosted a neighborhood meeting. We sent out about 146 notices, I believe it was. We had 13 attendees. Some of the concerns were the Old Denver Road access and construction, impacts of traffic to Old Denver Road, timing of development, and then the on-site amenities. After that, we followed up with a meeting, Lewis Palmer School District. This was really to talk about kind of school bus pickup. Because this is kind of a private development and private roads, the school bus will not be coming into the site. But with the 25-mile-an-hour posted speeds of Old Denver Road along this section and the full stops on either ends, they felt comfortable picking up kids directly from Old Denver Road. Most likely at the main entrance, they'll figure out kind of demographics once they get a couple runs under the belt where what entrance will pick up, but most likely at that main entrance. And then, of course, in February, we gave kind of informal presentation introducing the project to you. And here's the final PUD criteria. Certainly can go through this in detail if you would like. I think overall we meet all the criteria. We're in line with less than the approved density. We have variation in the materials and the architecture and the colors. We have more parking than is required. Landscape does meet the town code as well as the recently adopted wildfire resiliency code. Variation in unit styles, the 2-bedroom apartments and 3-bedroom townhomes. So we do meet that criteria. And then with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Anything else from staff? All right.
Not at this time, no.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up this for public comment or questions. First, we'll look to anyone within the chambers that wants to comment or have any questions. Please step up to the podium. Seeing no one in the room, we'll go to those online. Anyone have their hand raised online? Ray?
At this time, I don't see anyone with their hand raised.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the public comment portion of the public hearing and move to comments and questions from the Planning Commission. Commissioner Trujillo.
First question I have specifically regarding density. Identified there in the the 23.1 acres. It was identified at the density was at 20.6, I think it was. Is that correct? It could go up to 20.6. You took it down to 18.53.
If you're talking about what was approved, we could go up to 20.89.
Correct.
Over 19 acres is roughly 399 units.
The density inside that area with the individual area that we already put into the south on east or west side of the old Denver Highway. As this continues to grow, I understand the compassionate aspect of more housing for more individuals. Let's start with, what is it going to cost for that apartment building per apartment building?
That I have to defer to Marcus.
Okay, Marcus.
So the average monthly rent right now in Monument is about $2,000 for a similar unit. And as of right now, we're projecting 1925.
So 1925 at 354, got it. Not going to do the math fully, but I'm trying to figure out what is the tax break across the board for a monument. Let's say they're at $300,000 a unit. At 354, tax across the board with mill levy across and everything, it would be 712,000 that the actual state, or not the state, the town would get. If it were single family residence, let's say we averaged at 70 to 115 in that same 23.1 acres, it may be reduced at 371,000 coming in. My concern is that long-term impact on traffic, schools, emergency services, infrastructure, parking, all of that was addressed, but we know that at some point, it's going to take a lot for not only your organization, but several others to manage that facility. Long-term, how do we best leverage that to support the community and those individuals that have homes here? As we continue to grow, that's the consideration. It's your land. You own it. We can't tell you what to do. But I would ask for that consideration to look at it from the perspective of the single family home. I get it. It's the PUD. You were allowed to build up to 20.1, made your best guess estimate and saying that this is your best option or our best option to consume. Town council will make that recommendation, but as this lays out, I would request a reduction in density, especially right there, because that individual area I don't think supports it. With the jobs and everything, I feel compassionate for those individuals, but I don't know that this is the right area. Further south, Fountain, possibly may be that area to support this type of structure. But I think within the aspect of single family homes, that's probably the better aspect for that. But again, that's one man's opinion. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Commissioner Hatch.
My question is on the fencing. I saw no photos or examples of it. What type of fence is it going to be?
Across the Jason Allwine with NES, across the development, there is no fencing other than the 8-foot sound wall that is along I-25. Bear with me. I have a black and white. We don't have the actual color chosen yet. But you can see, oh, I'm sorry, too fast. That's the sound wall that is along the I-25. Other than that, we have no fencing outside, with the exception, I'm sorry, of like, we have the safety fencing along the pool. We have fencing along the dog park and the pickleball court, but there's no
What is
6
this
foot
material of the sound?
concrete. It'll be precast concrete wall. We'll pick a color to match the architecture.
How tall?
8 foot.
8 foot.
8 foot
Okay.
along the entire stretch. You can kind of see the red dashed line.
Uh-huh.
That's the length of the 8 foot sound wall
Will there
along
be a
I-25.
sign on the other side of that fence
There'll be
towards
a
the
sign?
highway? Mhm.
No,
Okay.
the only sign we have is at that main kind of splitter island
You
entrance.
have 3-bedroom apartments, you have townhomes. I don't see a small playground. I just see, it seems like you're geared towards adult singles really with the amenities. And you're talking about buses and I know families are going to take advantage of the price point. But is there access to a playground?
On this particular site, we didn't have a playground. Again, I can let Marcus speak to their demographics. We have the pickleball court, the pool house, the pool and the dog park, but from a demographic standpoint, perhaps Marcus can answer
Please.
that a little bit more.
Yeah, every community is obviously slightly different and we will adapt accordingly. I do agree with you with and just a point of clarification, the apartments are 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Across our portfolio, we typically do not see the number of children that you might see in a 3 and 4-bedroom mix. It's not nearly as conducive. This is set up as a dual master. It is, I mean, we will welcome a family if they choose to live with us. We typically do not see the number of kids that you would see in a 3 and 4-bedroom unit.
And on the affordability, you had spoken about being $100, $200 less, and it sounds like it's more like 75. Because I do want to see that first step apartment for low income and for the junior income individual who's starting off.
And I
So
should
I
have
appreciate that.
expanded on that a little bit. So that is $2,000 today. We are going to be 1925 when we open our doors, which is going to be 18 to 24 months from right now. So we will definitely be in that $100 to $200 range, less than anything else in the market.
And the bedrooms for the townhome is a 2?
They are 3-bedroom.
They are 3 bedrooms.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's why I was questioning
ma'am.
that. I see, of course, the Heritage or Meritage across the highway has a little park. But I know at one point I lived in an apartment with my husband and a young child. And we chose an adult and had to drive a lot. So I think that adds more traffic if I'm having to take my young child to a park daily to play. So that's why I was asking that question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Peterson.
I've got nothing at this time.
All right. Commissioner Balmer.
Also, I have nothing. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. The southwest corner of the project it looks like it just kind of dead ends with some landscaping. Why not incorporate some type of a connection direct to the Santa Fe Trail at the very southwest corner down there, rather than having the individuals come down that 5-foot sidewalk all the way?
I'll get to a better image. We do have a connection down in that corner. Let me
Maybe
see
I'm
if
just missing it.
Yeah, it might, because it's a big site and a small map. You can, yeah, it's really hard to see, but just left of the S in Santa Fe, there is actual trail connection just between the 4-unit complex and the word Santa. There's a connection there. There's a connection near the main entrance, actually 2 connections a little farther down above the word major. There's another sidewalk connection, and then of course at our northern entrance point, there's
Okay.
another
My
connection.
apologies.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard to see because the map's a small scale.
And I apologize for my ignorance, but you have on your on one of your notes, you have 5-foot sidewalk with a 3-foot breeze trail. I
Correct.
have no idea what a breeze trail is.
So think like, actually just kind of what's outside, the compacted Santa Fe Trail. We call that breeze. So it's a compacted trail, and we did that in conjunction to the sidewalk, because sometimes runners like to be on the breeze trail, or if you're walking a dog, they like to be on the soft surface. We call it breeze, but it's that compacted, hard, soft surface trail, very similar to what Santa Fe is constructed of now. So that's in addition to right next to that 5-foot sidewalk.
All right, and then kind of going back to when we first met a few months ago, one of the commissioners brought up the idea of those townhomes facing out, basically the front door facing out, or back door, I'm not sure which one, onto Old Denver Road, and having some type of privacy for those units, or security, if you will. How you resolve that?
So at that time, we looked at options where the front door was Old Denver Road and garage on the other side. The unit type has changed a little bit. So the front door and the garage are all internal.
Okay.
And then on the back side, each townhome unit has like a little private patio or balcony. And then from a privacy standpoint, it's kind of hard to see here, but you can see like a little wavy line that's brown. Those are shrub beds. So we have various landscape materials in there with some shrubbery to help provide both screening from the street and privacy for the neighbors, as well as the street trees and the trees along Old Denver Road to really create that street scene along there for a variety of heights and textures from a landscape, shrub, and tree component.
Okay. And then during Ray's presentation, he mentioned that the noise study for Interstate 25 indicated that noise would exceed the dB levels. And so your recommendation is to put in an 8-foot sound wall. I guess my question is there any study that would suggest that that's going to reduce that, guarantee that's going to reduce that below the accepted levels?
It does, and that's why that fence runs the entire length of the property, and that's why that fence is 8 foot tall.
So you've done it, so we have an additional noise study that we could refer to?
Correct. That noise study was submitted to the town, reviewed the town, and by IMEG as well, and accepted.
Okay, all right. And then kind of to piggyback off what Commissioner Hatch said, I think there's a real lack of park space in this particular development. I know that the entire Connexus project indicates that there's 27.5 acres, I believe, of parks/open space. But frankly, open space is not parks, and open space is not usable park space. And so we have close to 800 people that'll be living in those apartments and townhomes at full occupancy, and another 400 or so across the road. And I guess the question is, are the amenities that you have, the pickleball court, the dog park, anything else, going to be available to residents of Monument besides those that live in the community itself?
I don't believe so. This is, let Marcus answer that, but these amenities are for the apartment users and the residents who pay the fees and rent to use them. Again, from the playground standpoint, I think, Marcus answered that best he could from a demographic standpoint and supply and demand. If there's not much demand for a playground, why we put one in, but.
And actually, I misspoke. As I mentioned earlier, every development is a little bit different in the demographics. We actually, which slide? If you can go back to the slide plan, please. We actually do include a playground. It is adjacent. It is that, yep, right there. It's actually adjacent to the pickleball court at the end of that 36-unit building. So we do actually include it. And I thought we did, and I said in my opening remarks, and then kind of brain hard on that. So, but yes, we do. And yes, these are, the amenities. You're going to take me down history lane if you don't mind, but I will go there. The amenity side of this is actually something I am like wildly proud of. And I understand like on paper how it might not look to scale. But if you go back to our first project, which was in Brunswick, Georgia, I could take you there, and it is a kidney bean pool. It's nice, but it's not, it's not too extravagant. Throughout the years, as we have expanded in every way with our amenity package, we figured out people weren't doing laps, right? So we designed a resort style pool that has a lot of seating nooks because people like to come and sit around the pool and converse with their friends. They're not doing laps. We being the long-term owner and concerned with the long-term maintenance of these units, we had freestanding cabanas to get out of the sun. Well, those things over the years break down. They don't look good. It becomes a maintenance issue for us. Completely redesigned the clubhouse, extended the back roof line with columns, with cabling. So they can literally come with couches and a dorm fridge. So they can come, pull back a curtain and eat and like have their own little cabana right next to this resort style pool. Again, the fitness center has evolved. It was a smaller fitness center that was encompassed within the footprint of the clubhouse. We've completely removed that to its own structure. It has its own set of bathrooms, a full gym, and the evolution of the pet spa actually came from a yoga room, and we realized people weren't doing yoga, but everybody had pets because all of our units are 100% pet friendly. So we closed off the interior door, opened an exterior door, and repurposed that space into being the pet spa. We added the fire pits, we added grilling stations. We feel very confident, again, because we want people to come home, have dignity of what they're coming home to, and enjoy living where they're living. We are very confident with the level of our amenity package.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
Eric Chuckle with Shuck Chapman. So I'm the person responsible for the construction of New Old Denver Road and everything else that's being built out there for us and for the town. I also wanted to mention in the public improvement agreement that we negotiated with the town during the planning process, in that document where we dedicated the 30 plus acres to the town for open space. That's also intended to be developed as entertainment locations or for public park areas for the town, for anybody in the town to use. So that was part of the negotiation with the city manager at the time. And we also contribute funds for the design of those, for those areas to be developed as the town wants to see those developed. So although every residential development within Connexus will have their own private park areas for their residents, the town too gets funds from Connexus to design those open spaces and park areas to be used for not only the folks within Connexus, but anywhere from throughout the town.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that information.
Sure.
One last thing for Jason. What's the setback from Old Denver Road to the back of the townhome units?
Might be able to get that. It's at least 25 feet, but I think it's set back a little farther because we have some easements along there. So the patio is 25 feet to the setback.
Again, it just goes to safety, security, and privacy that off of Old Denver Road, because there's no fencing other than landscaping, obviously. I had a question for town staff. According to our land development code in section B, subsection 2, for residential use, it says the park standard for dedication shall be 5 acres per 1,000 projected population. Was there any discussion, since this particular housing development at full occupancy will probably be around 850 individuals. It's going to be close to 4 to 4.5 acres for that 1,000 people. Was there any discussion of a dedication of 4 to 5 acres of park within that project?
That and Mr. Shuckle might be able to provide more detail, but that 27.5 acres dedication accounts for all proposed residences going back to that master plan. So if you go back to this slide here, that dedicated and open space is calculated based on the projected densities of both the medium and the high density. So that's where partly where that neighbor comes from and generates that. So our open space dedication is covered by that master PIA with that dedicated open space.
Okay. But I guess my only question is that I appreciate the dedication of the 27.5 acres, but it's undeveloped land. I mean, one's on the other side of a detention pond and the other is, has some serious geographic challenges on the north end. And so, and really the ultimate development is up to the town. And at some point in time, the town has to come up with $1 or $2 to do that. And so I would prefer to have some type of a dedication and some type of a public park in this particular development that could be used by the town versus waiting 15 or 20 years for either one of those others to be developed.
Right, but again, go back to that master PIA, that document outlines the park and open space dedications for this entire area, not just Meritage or Lot 1. All of development, that master PIA takes that into account, and that's where that dedication came from. I understand it may be vacant today, but tomorrow it may not be vacant. Who knows what the uses are going to be, but that's why that master document's there for, is to account for the overall park and open space dedication collectively, not on a case-by-case basis. So those open space requirements have been met through that master PIA, through the dedication of these 2 open space areas.
Okay, all right, thanks. You want to add something, Dan?
Well, Dan Ungerleider, Planning Director. Just to confirm what Jason just reported to you, that is in fact the case. The overall development for Connexus actually addresses the issue, the topic that you're raising. I can appreciate that you're raising it, but that was already that's been negotiated and concluded as part of the Connexus overall development.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Any other questions from commissioners? Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Peterson or Balmer, if you'd like to join in.
I have nothing. Thank you.
All right.
Anything additional? Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Commissioner Donna Hatch, I forward a motion to recommend approval of the Connexus Lot 1 Filing 2 Final Plan Unit Development for property located on the property schedule number 71233111001, supported by the reference documents and the findings of facts listed in the staff report, specifically 1, 8, and 10.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
This is Commissioner Balmer. I second the motion based on finding number 1. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Ray, would you take roll, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair Egley.
I'm gonna vote no because I don't feel that the project meets the functional parks, open space, and connectivity portion of the final PDU criteria for review.
Vice Chair Peterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Balmer,
Yes, based on number 1. Thank you.
thank you, Commissioner Hatch,
Yes, based on the numbers I've listed previously.
thank you, and Commissioner Trujillo.
Vote no, go with citing number 3 and number 4.
Understood, thank you. Motion passes 3 in favor, 2 opposed.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. We don't really have any workshop public items to discuss, I assume.
Just wanted to be sure that we took the time at the end of the meeting to address anything that may be upcoming. For example, I just wanted to highlight next month, we do have a Board of Adjustments application that we will be hearing. So confirmation, of course, of attendance will be very important again. And I did also notice, I'm not sure if it has been discussed in the past or if we want to consider it now, Veterans Day falls on November 11th, Wednesday, when we would typically have our meeting. I don't know if that had been discussed earlier in the year or what maybe the board's classic process is there, or if we want to kind of discuss that now. I know it's a little bit ahead, but it's good that we take notice now.
Well, personally, I think I would defer to Commissioner Trujillo and Commissioner Baumer on their feelings regarding that. And Commissioner Hatch, I think you have a spouse that was out there.
My only opinion would be that right now we're probably going to be backlogged. I would push for the actual meeting to meet, to go ahead
We
and
will be
push.
closed.
What's that?
We'll be closed. Is that what you're
But is it
understanding?
going to be, are we going to, how many are in the queue right now?
I would anticipate that we will certainly have applications queued for that month.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
my recommendation would be just keep going through. I mean, obviously, we got to get through these. The more we defer, obviously, on behalf of those individuals that are proposing those projects, I would try to keep them on schedule as much as possible. That would be my only recommendation, but to me, it's irrelevant.
So are you perhaps,
The meeting a week.
right, that's what I'm wondering. Is our option delay it a week, or reschedule to another day during that week? I suppose that would be up to the commission to choose.
I think if
We don't necessarily have to choose right now.
Yeah, I think we can discuss it further, but since we meet every second, excuse me, Wednesday, we can move that to the third Wednesday of the month if we need to that month. If we can just get a voice acclamation from the commission that they're okay with that, then we can give staff direction.
May I only, and I'm speaking selfishly based on how this week has gone, if there's maybe any option to have that meeting another day during the existing week, that would piggyback off a town council meeting, and that's likely to 9 or 10 o'clock and 10 or 12-hour days in a week.
Is the commission open
If
to
it's
a Tuesday
optional.
or a Thursday of that week?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Okay, so we'll put that tentative. We'll talk about it again when everybody is present and feeling healthy.
Yeah,
Great,
you might make a note for the town council that the planning commission is incredibly flexible.
great. And we appreciate that as well. I didn't have any additional notes. I do just want to thank our participants today for the joint workshop. I thought it was incredibly productive and it was a great conversation. So thank you for attending. That was great. I look forward to doing that again in the future.
All right. Any other comments from staff or commission members? Any reports, announcements?
None additional from staff.
Okay. All right. And the next meeting is August 12th and it'll be a busy one again.
Yes, it will. We anticipate three items again, the Board of Adjustments and at minimal 2 public hearings.
And I appreciate both commissioners who joined in remotely tonight. Thank you.
You know, it may be beneficial, Mr. Chair. You had mentioned before when we were getting started, if you have in your bylaws a defined limit of number of cases or applications you'll hear in a minute in an evening. You don't currently, but the bylaws do discuss that you have that option. So if that's something we also want to have a discussion about in the coming month or two, that's a great idea as well.
Yeah, I think that at some point we may have to limit the number of projects that we discuss just to give all of them
Yeah.
equal value.
Yeah, and I think what you would do there is really just kind of support what town council has in place. They do have a limitation of 2 land development cases and they're heard on the first Monday of the month. So even if we were to hear 3, 4, 5 in an evening, we would just be bottlenecking those applicants and it may be difficult to pick and choose who would move forward at that point.
Can we make a motion to go ahead and have it just be 2 now, or do we need to have a formal?
We would be amending the bylaws, I believe. So let me look into that a little bit and confirm what that process is for being official.
Okay, thank you.
You sure?
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else. I'll go ahead and move that we adjourn the meeting. All agreed, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
We are adjourned.